Welcome back to the Rainbow Six North American League. We're getting ready for our fourth game of the day. It's going to be Soniqs versus Beastcoast. And wait, what's this? I'm receiving a special bulletin here.
Huh? What's going on?
That Ferda is playing for Beastcoast. Oh yes.
What?
The visa issues have apparently been solved. Wow. It's happening. Mark the Shark out. Sorry, buddy, you did.
Throw my prep out the window, dude.
Hey,
it's all you
put up some good numbers.
Playing.
Good numbers for a coach, no doubt. But Ferda, the Challenger League extraordinaire player, finally in the lineup for Beastcoast today. And we just found out about this. Like, literally, we just found out about this.
Yeah.
I wonder how aware Soniqs is of this.
Yeah.
If that changes things. Obviously, Soniqs coming in looking pretty good, but this does shake things up a bit, doesn't it?
It really makes me wonder because I was curious whether Mark was specifically playing the roles that he has been playing, not because they're hoping that they can tap into like what classic Mark was able to do when he played, but more so that when Ferda came in, he can just slot right in, do what Mark was already doing, and it doesn't like throw Beastcoast really off the mark nearly as much. Ferda has been scrimming. That's been a thing. Mark hasn't been scrimming, and Ferda has behind the scenes waiting for the opportunity to finally play this game.
That's true.
Dude, I did not expect this when I woke up this morning. Ferda's finally in the league, dude.
Hey, we're getting more Canadian every match here in the NAL. You love to see it. The Maniac from the Maritimes coming in for Beastcoast.
That's a good nickname. Nice
Absolutely.
one.
I've been saving that for weeks, Jacob. Listen, he went crazy in Challenger League. He was a very good CO player, of course. Did a lot of good things for his team back in Challenger League. So I'm really excited for Ferda to jump in on the squad.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a bit of a snooze fest of a game, but with the news that Ferda's playing, I think this could be a very interesting game, especially if you said that Beastcoast has been practicing with Ferda this whole time.
They have.
It means like they have prep, they have strats, they know what they're doing. I think it could be a good game.
This is good, man. This is really, really good for a Beastcoast team that had a really shoddy week 1, a much improved week 2, even if they still haven't been able to get any more than just 1 point so far this whole year, or sorry, this whole stage. This already looks way, way better. And I'm not saying that this is immediately going to change everyone's predictions and we all start going Beastcoast, but it's nice that there is a little bit more hope for a Beastcoast team that luckily only had to wait 2 weeks to get their guy in. If this was something that lasted for like the entire stage, their mentals would be shot. But I bet you this gives them a really big boost today.
I would think so. We should temper our expectations a little bit. He's still coming out of Challenger League. He still has not played a game on the stage yet.
It's still really cool to see him, yeah.
It's good that he's here, but they do have Soniqs to contend with. Let's talk a bit about this squad because they have been looking very, very good all stage. The changes they made have worked out quite well, and they are certainly coming into this one as one of the biggest contenders to go into that next major.
Yeah, I think what makes Soniqs so deadly is they've got the brains and they've got the brawn, okay? The brain we know. We had Super in last week. We had Joe last stage, but I think I need to expose something about the analyst of this team, Joe Bro, because picture this. It's a lovely Friday evening, okay? Myself and the third best Canadian talents currently in the studio, we're playing some unranked as you do on the servers, okay? And who do we run into? But the Joe Bro stack, okay? Nice fun little game coming up we're expecting, right? Joe Bro, we love Joe Bro. We had him on the stage.
We did.
Man demolishes us. 4-0, it's not even close, all right? We get slammed in the unranked game. We say, all right, that's not ideal. Let's run it again, see what happens. 4-0 again. We see them once more in the server. We lose to them again. Absolutely demolished. So the point I'm trying to make here, when you get to the bronze of Sonic as well, it's not just the 3 players they had before coming in from Rexton, Grixer, Kansan. It's not just that they picked up a guy literally named Gunner, as well as Gio, one of the best support players inside of North America. But their support staff are also crazy. God has played the game before, Sheik and Frag. Joe Bro is apparently a monster behind the sticks. I don't understand how this much fragging power on one team is even legal. Where are the admins?
I mean, well...
Admins are over there behind the scenes banning his account, evidently. That's something.
I was going to say, you said it right as Rex.
I was going to say,
anyway.
We were looking at this earlier, and I'm trying to still figure out exactly how real this is or precisely what this means. But it seems like Rexton's account might have met with a bit of a stat ban problem behind the scenes earlier today. Now,
we don't want to make any allegations.
There are no allegations.
Hashtag allegedly.
If anything, it just goes to show that his headshot percentage is elite, and the amount of kills that he gets is insane for what he's able to produce in the server, it's only a testament to his skill, because if it's an accident and that wasn't meant to happen, then great. It just goes to show you exactly how cracked of a player is. When Super was in here last week, he called him one of the best players in the world, probably the single best entry player in the world, and it's a nice thing when that is able to work for you in a competitive context. You've already got a core of guys on this team that are doing fantastic, and then Geo and Gunner are just doing Geo and Gunner things. So right now, Soniqs are still very much a team that's on top of the world.
Yeah, I don't think Gunner and Geo have joined Soniqs and feel like awkward in the team as well. I think the team's playstyle has stayed consistent with Geo and Gunner. So I think them joining in hasn't changed how Kenzen, Rexen, and Grixer are playing, but it just amplifies how good the team is.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. I mean, Soniqs absolutely looking better this stage than they have all year long, gunning for that major with the help of Gunner. You know, why do you have to name yourself Gunner? That just, it plays into too many things. I don't know. It works. But let's move over to the other side of the stage there and check out Beastcoast. Beastcoast, of course, the big story, like we just talked about, Ferda in the lineup for the first time this stage, for the first time ever. If you've seen the show Letterkenny, you know where that name comes from. But does he have the stats? Is he going to have the numbers that they need to finally get a win here?
I certainly hope so, Doa, because as Jacob mentioned earlier, he has been scrimming with the team. And I had the chance to sit down with Rams earlier in the week, and I talked to him a little bit about that decision, because I was a little bit critical of it, right? Like, if you know you're playing with Mark for a lot of these games, why not scrim with him? Why not try to get better? And what Mark really stressed to me was that Beastcoast has got a long-term vision for this team, right? They don't want to sacrifice any potential practice with their full lineup just to maybe win a game or two here in Stage 3. That's not their goal. They're not trying to be the best team right now. They want to build for SI. They want to build for next year. And so the fact that they've been continuously practicing with Ferda, that they know they can play with Ferda, gives me a lot of hope for this team, you know? Rams talked a little bit about how when they're in scrims, they can rely on Ferda to play these positions and get like 2 or 3 kills. Whereas like with Mark, every round they're kind of hoping for one. They're hoping he can hold for a little bit of time, and it almost puts a little bit more pressure on the other teammates to kind of like overperform when they've got a coach playing with them. And so hopefully now with that kind of looming cloud lifted over the team, they might just have what it takes to bounce back and be a solid NAL team.
Yeah, the problem was Beastcoast had a solid lineup for 2 straight stages this year, and now they only have 5 games with their actual full lineup in this stage. It seems like Beastcoast have already not plummeted, but they've definitely downgraded from a team with a consistent lineup to one where we're going to be asking the question, is this the lineup they actually want to take into the next year and keep on building and everything? They only have 5 games in prime time to actually make this work, and I do think behind the scenes they should already, like, if they've said we want to keep on building for next year, they already know their major hopes are in the gutter at this point, which is okay. It's a write-off, and they understood that because that was the challenge or the hand that they were dealt when they started this stage in the first place. So you're just looking to build on something here. You've got prime opportunity to do that. Ferda might be a scrim demon. We might actually be coming in and seeing the exact thing that they were hoping Ferda could turn into, but again, it's just very little time to actually prove that this was the move that you were hoping would work out.
I mean, I always talk about teams building up those scrim bucks, you know, but hard to cash them in on stage sometimes. You know, the value is different. But we're all excited to see what Ferda can do. Let's see where he's going to try to do it as the map bans are in. Find out what the vetoes were here.
Well, this one is going to be a little interesting, mostly because I fully expect Beastcoast to just go fully into whatever strat, whatever map they decide. They've got their full 5 in, so their options definitely are a little bit more plentiful, even if they don't have the world's greatest map pool. They've been 25 to 50% on basically every map so far this year. They take out Club, which has been pretty unpopular. They take out Chalet, which they've lost twice this stage so far. And they take out Cafe, which is a 100% ban rate through almost the entirety of this year, so it kind of falls down to the Soniqs to pick where they want to go.
Leaves Oregon Theme Park and Border. I agree, Jacob. I think the obvious ban for Beastcoast here is probably Theme Park. They've been very bad on that map. They've never won it ever. They've got 3 plays through the year on it, so we'll see if they do take it out. SQ will ban Border, leaving us to Oregon. Now, Oregon's a really, I assume. Leave Oregon. Oregon's a very fun map.
Spoiler?
Wait for it.
I mean, there's no shot Beastcoast don't bring it to. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Oregon's a fun map for Soniqs, right? Because although they've played it a ton, right? Coming into this stage, it made up 1/3 of all games they played. They've only won it twice. Their win rate on it is abysmal. They've got a 3-game losing streak currently. And one of those losses, one of the many losses they've got in Oregon this year, was against Beastcoast back in Stage 1, 7-2.
And just as a fun fact, First time we're seeing Oregon played in the entirety of this stage. It took until midway through Playday 5 to finally see an Oregon. There's only a couple that have been played like maybe once or twice. First time we saw Bank was last week Playday 4 when TSM played it. Now, first time we're seeing Oregon. It took a really long time for any team to decide they wanted to give this a shot.
One thing I'd like to note as well is Soniqs is starting on defense. And when I've scrimmed Beastcoast in the past on Oregon, their attacks are always interesting. They don't always work, but they're interesting.
That's a word.
All right. No, that's legit.
I think it's good that they're starting on the attack because those interesting attacks, especially with Ferda, it's his first game, can catch you by surprise. And if you get a 3-3 half on Oregon, you're looking great.
Can Slashug break out the glass again? Do you remember that one time?
I do remember that. I do remember that.
I mean, there's a lot to think about going into predictions now. I mean, the Ferda situation does throw a wrench into things a little bit, maybe. We'll find out. Pengu, Intero, what are you thinking about this one? Ferda's in. Does it change your mind at all on any of this?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's going to make Beastcoast a better team. I don't think Mark was necessarily the problem from what we saw to that roster. I think there were a whole heap of issues that they had, which is more systemic, I think, than just a single player. But
fair enough.
I mean, Soniqs looks like one of the best teams in North America. I mean, you could put Jesus Christ himself on this Beastcoast roster, and I mean, he probably doesn't know how to use a computer, but I'd give him better odds.
Don't speak the Lord's name in
most
vain,
people.
Parker.
So I didn't say Super's name.
Oh, all right. So one for Soniqs. What do you got?
I'm in the same boat where it's like we're talking about what we've seen from Soniqs all stage so far versus what does Beastcoast look like with Ferda. So I gotta go the obvious choice here and say Soniqs.
All right, 2 for Soniqs.
Maybe
not too surprising.
Beastcoast for a second.
I almost did.
So confused.
We're all excited to see what Ferda can do on Beastcoast, but we're not necessarily expecting that to make the difference against a team like Soniqs. Makes sense. We'll check back in with our casters in just a moment. Thanks, guys. So, the desk. Soniqs all the way or any chance for Beastcoast? Well, I'll say it this way. Does anyone want to go for, like, the big crazy odds upset pick? Really?
You're kidding
I
me.
do.
You're doing
Here's
it?
the thing.
Are you really doing it?
What we saw and what we haven't really touched on so far in this desk has been the struggles that we saw from Soniqs in the most recent matchup. That was against TSM, very good team, but it felt like they weren't really on their stride on Bank. Something seemed off. They were letting Geo get picked a little too often. They didn't seem to have a very successful match there, and I don't know, I'm feeling Ferda, okay? Coming through, being able to back up Beastcoast, make them play like they know they can. Let's do it. Let's throw in a Beastcoast pick.
I don't know, man. Like, okay, I'm going to say Soniqs if only for the sake of the prediction so I can keep my percentage alive.
I mean, they're
but
putting him in there for us.
I'm not, like, I don't know why you're doing this. You're only doing this so Adam can take your screenshot and put it on Twitter and give you impressions. That's the only reason you're doing this. Jazzman, I love you. But the thing about this is still there are more mistakes that Beastcoast need to clean up. And Parker's right. It's 100% not all on Ferda. It's nice when you're able to play with your starting 5. It's good, but the problems do definitely go a little bit deeper. It feels like when Beastcoast focus on too many parts of one attack all happening at the same time, it feels like they've fallen flat. On all 4 games, that's been the same consistent thing over and over again. The one exception maybe being the fact that Anthony actually performed way above expectations when they played Astralis on Villa last week. I still don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to be good to finally see the track that Beastcoast are on with Ferda, but it's too soon to actually say they're going to beat one of NA's best teams right now.
Yeah, I think Soniqs are going to win this game, but I do think Oregon will be a good game for us. I think there's the potential for Beastcoast to upset. It is an equalizer map in Oregon, but I don't know. I just think Soniqs is a solid Oregon team.
Like, I'll say this, like, I'm picking Soniqs. I'm rooting the other way, though, if only because it's time for the underdog to finally get what they're due, right?
All right, well, let's see what the coin has to say about it. It's going to be heads, Soniqs, tails, Beastcoast. As we flip it, it's tails. The coin is going for the upset.
Let's go.
For Beastcoast.
No, that's bad.
The coin
That's
picks
what I'm
Beastcoast.
talking about.
Bad for you.
The coin consistently picks the worst performing teams, if you notice that. A lot of Mirage picks last stage. It's a ton of Beastcoast this time around. The coin just a believer in the underdog. I appreciate that. What's the fan vote say?
I wonder what the
Fan vote
votes
don't
say.
89% Soniqs. 89% Soniqs. That's a higher percentage than TSM had earlier today. So that's
Wow.
That
They
tells
didn't
you
know about
something
Ferda,
right
though,
there.
presumably.
I guess so.
Most
Yeah,
of
they didn't know Ferda was going to come in. Let's look at our community poll. What's it going to be? The question is, who will end up with more kills, Gunner or Surf? You know,
I'm going with Gunner.
I think Gunner's
I'm
pretty
going with
good.
Surf.
He's pretty
Gunner's
good at
not
killing
playing
people
those roles.
in Rainbow Six.
Yeah, but Gunner's a Gunner. Like,
Gunner
Gunner is a gunner, but he's not playing those roles.
well, we'll see. I think he'll do good on the roles he's playing.
He's tended to do that so far. That's going to be it for our pre-show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if Ferda can breathe new life into Beast Coast or if Soniqs will stomp their way to another win here in Stage 3. Rainbow Six NAL returns in just a few.
Match number 4 on the board today, and it's Soniqs versus Beastcoast. And if you didn't hear the desk, Ferda is playing Ferda Boys on Beastcoast, making his NAL debut. That means that the coach of Beastcoast, Mark the Shark,
will actually be a coach today.
turned into shark fin soup.
Or that.
They literally poached him. No, I'm kidding. He will be behind the team. He will be behind Beastcoast, while Ferda actually gets to play. And as was discussed quite often by the desk, Ferda has been scrimming with them.
Yeah.
So
it should be good. And I mean, looking at Beastcoast's track record so far, throughout the 4 playdays, they went 2-7 loss, 1-7 loss, 4-7 loss, 6-8 loss. So what we see right now is just progress throughout, and that was with Mark the Shark playing as well. So if they want to keep these numbers in similar fashion, they could even look for a victory in this matchup. But it's against Soniqs. So that's where we go. It might not happen easily.
yeah, that's where the tricky bit comes in. The Soniqs entered today in second place with 9 points. Dark Zero leapt over them with their matchup just a couple minutes ago. But the Soniqs are still one of the finest teams in all of North America. 3 regulation wins, 1 regulation lost.
Yep.
Or 1 regulation loss, and they've still looked mighty strong. Yeah, this is a new look to the Soniqs team. Super is no longer playing. Instead, you've got both Geo and Gunner on the squad, yet he was shipped off to SSG. But you've still got a very potent force here for one of the 2 teams in teal. Here on Oregon, Soniqs will be starting on defense. They get first ban. They take out Ying, who has so much application on a map like Oregon.
Yep. I mean, Penguin said on the desk, they have interesting attacks, Beastcoast that is. And maybe Ying was a part of that. He didn't really specify, so we can't know for sure. But yeah, Ying is very commonly used in this map, both in the upstairs attack on bunks and downstairs on basement in particular. Nook follows Troop, and so does Asami. Again, Asami does not see any play in the NAL as of late. And honestly, I understand why. It's a very strong operator, pretty much every single bomb site, has a great gun. And Valkyrie, last defender to get target banned. No information on the board there. Can still play the Yokai if you want the Echo, that is, but besides that, limited information for defenders.
Valkyrie is a very common ban
Yeah.
on all maps because of the intel, obviously, that she provides, but also the way that teams like to play her aggressively off-site. Am I really seeing things?
Yeah.
Keep in mind that there is attacker repick, so just the fact that Blitz, Lion, and Capitão might be played does not mean it will actually come to fruition. They can be easily picked off of as the attackers have 35 seconds to swap up their lineup. Defenders are locked in, and we're starting to see this Alibi Warden being brought more and more consistently in the North American League. Alibi, 3-speed, can make rotates quite well, brings a deployable shield, and has a good gun. Warden, well, if you're worried about a smoke take, if you're worried about a lot of flashbangs going down your way, especially if a Ying is on the board, which she isn't for this matchup because she was banned out by Soniqs, Warden proves to be so valuable. And if you watch the match that just happened, there was one round in particular where a Warden uniquely situated to stop that push that came in because of the fact that you can see through the smokes.
Absolutely. And Oregon is a very small map, especially in the basement department. It's like, you usually have, like, you know, you have the laundry stairs, the freezer stairs, and back stairs, and blue. You only really have 4 areas. They're all relatively close quarter combat, so that's where the flashbangs normally get tossed down to, like, blind somebody. Of course, the Warden cannot get blinded when the gadget is activated. And even if you are blinded, activating the gadget will nullify that effect, and you can see again immediately. So, very stable operator for this map in particular. A rather passive hold for Soniqs. I mean, sure, you're playing staircases, 1 freezer, 1 big tower, 1 laundry, just to kill that, you know, initial drone. The only play that's really happening right now is that Grixer and Mr. Geo are doing a bit of a rat play inside a big tower. Grixer's gonna bait out the drone on first floor, then fall back, I imagine, where Geo hides. We'll see if Beastcoast's drone work is good enough to figure that out, or if they'll be caught off guard. Good entry from the west-hand side, so small tower. Gunner might have a gunfight on his hands momentarily.
He'll decide to swing that main doorway, doesn't find anything for it, and heads back down, 1 minute off of the board. Beast Coast, roam clearing on the top floor now. Drones aplenty. We see them go out. That was Slash and Surf. Was droning in Anthony up top. For a strong performance from Anthony here in this matchup. He has lagged behind a lot of the competition and has routinely been in the crosshairs of the fans of Beast Coast and some of the former players as to what Anthony can bring to the team. Going off of being droned in, now he himself will try to guide in Xeno down below. Xeno and Ferdo are the 2 new acquisitions by Beast Coast. First E1D goes off and a nade toss down. Anthony, the man we spoke into existence, kills Rexen. And with half of the round still to go, Beast Coast have a numbers advantage.
Yeah, and Geo is still waiting in this corner. Nothing quite happening. First drone comes up from the surface. See if he checks the corner or not. Default cam being watched here could indicate something, but no. We can get the cam to the wall here. Beep, boop, just like that. We don't necessarily need to take big tower control if you're on the attacking side, unless you really want to get that backside presence. So this is a 50-50 gamble. We check every... Oh, I think I might have missed Geo.
Oh. Geo's still in this position, and he's spread some blood on the wall, lost some himself, but waits on these stairs. Not quite towards the bottom of the basement as another EE1D goes off. Ferda still has some utility in those pocket EMPs. We've seen them be quite common. A traditional hard breacher was not on the menu for Beast Coast. Instead, they go with the secondary hard breach gadget that comes with Capitão. Ying, an operator who was banned, can also bring that as well, showing good flexibility here. Gunner's waiting for them, and look at all of that being done. Loses his sight, or rather we should have thought as the EMP goes down. But it's Anthony, the first one to get picked off. Gunner, either you're in the fire or you're in the flames. He's down for the count. Grixer answers back. Play ring around the Rosie now with Ferda. Still looking for his very first kill here in the NAL, but he's losing all of his targets. The rest of Beast Coast is sweeping through the bomb site. That's allowed Geo to get back in through those back tower stairs, and he'll charge right in and take advantage of it, but Xeno, the last man standing for Beast Coast, shuts it down.
It's a nice try there from Geo, a good attempt indeed, and gets both of those kills with a KD at least. And I really like when I see like old school style players play Rainbow Six Siege. And Slash from Beast Coast is one of those members. He is not a mechanical player, so to speak, he's a brain player. Bringing out the Capital for Oregon, I'm such a big fan of, because the fire in the hallway really made them able to capitalize on the execute. It stalled defenders from like pushing forward. You get smoke grenades as well. And Capital in general is very underrated as an operator. Not many players that teams play him proactively in the pro play at this level of play. And Oregon is a map where you can't just play 5 gunner operators and walk down the staircase and win the round. Not typically, at least. You need to force it in one way or another. It's why we see the Blitz Rush in blue, the Ying being brought out if not banned, or Capitão in this case as a replacement is just wonderful to see. The Soniqs, well, the one gimmick that they had in their bag was the rat play inside a big tower, which didn't really work out. Geo thought he got droned out, so he went for the swing, did a bit of damage, but it turned out I don't believe he was droned at all, because he was simply aiming for that default camera ping for the wall bang. Either way, what happens in the past. First round goes to Beastcoast, and it looked like they had a great read on the situation in their opening round with Ferda.
I can't believe that everybody on the team got a kill but Ferda.
Didn't need him.
Zeno got 2 to his name, okay, but Ferda, really? You don't get in on the action. I mean, it is his very first round.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's got some catching up to do, if you will, because he was missing for 4 days. But welcome to the Pro League, Ferda. It's lovely seeing you here, and I'm sure Mark is relieved, right? Super, super happy that he does not have to play any longer, because it is one of the worst nightmares of a coach is that you're like, okay, so what do we do, guys? We need like a sub player, and they go, no, you're playing, and they go, well, it's been a while, you know, like nobody likes to be in that position. So Mark can go back to his actual job of being a coach, and I think that benefits Beastcoast even further because now you got the full picture.
a more traditional heart breacher being brought as you hear the X-Kairos go off, exploding not too far from the action. As we're going to see Soniqs go downstairs. Gio, what are you...
Now he's up top instead.
Be very, very still. They won't see him if he's up there. I mean, if you think that there are deficiencies in a newer team, especially with Ferda coming onto this squad, yeah, scrimming is one thing, Nick, but at the same time, actually being in an active game is totally different from scrimming. Every single player will tell you that getting your game reps in is absolutely crucial. If they think that there might be some issues, that Gio could exploit that by playing in back tower, and it allows him to sweep back into the bomb site. He very narrowly missed out on clinching. Came so close in the previous round to clutching that round for his team, couldn't pull it off. Now he will decide to head back to the bomb site with half of the round to go.
This could be big. I mean, he's past the line of drones. No, I think they got a read on him. Gunfight comes out. Both members stay alive, but Gio now is a roaming presence. That's going to be an issue for Beastcoast.
You know exactly where he is, so he'll decide to attempt a gunfight. No,
He's got to stay alive.
Didn't look like they seem to hit their marks. Still in this position right now inside of the mess hall. Can he control the recoil? Neo duel, it looks the wrong way. Zeno had a good read on that one, doing exactly as a Jackal does and hunting down the Hunter, as Jaeger is known in German. 45 seconds left now, and Soniqs have fallen back towards the tower stairs, back towards Pillar. But as I say, that Gunner repositions up to Freezer and can eagerly await Soniqs if they suspect that they're going to drop through that electrical box.
They're going to drone this out, they're going to drop in their radiant, they're going to explode on towards the bomb site here. One Goyo canister only alive on the backside, so limited utility for Soniqs. They're not really fishing for anything else, just waiting for the execute to come through.
Grixer can get more than one kill to his name. He could defang this push. Just watching towards those back stairs. Sees one through the smoke. Down goes Anthony. Ferda joins as well. Nitro Cell goes out, but it is not pulled, whether it's been shot or not. Surf decides to get in alongside the Hibana. It leaves Gunner to try to clutch out. Surf with diffuser in hand falls off. Gunner very limited bullets, only 3 left. But Surf decides to go for it with the sidearm, and Beastcoast is up 2-0. Both attempts on Laundry working out for them on attack.
What an absolute map madness scenario. Not only does he play the Jiggle Peak twice, despite the timer being so low, but with the pistol in hand, he's just a little bit faster, and that might just make the difference there. I mean, Grixer tossed out the C4, didn't pop it or was shot mid-air either way. It was a good execute from both teams there. It came down to the wire in a 1 versus 1, but Serve, not a moment of hesitation. The second his teammate fell for that cover, he said, I know I can't plant with 6 seconds left. I'm going to lose on time. I'm going to take the fight to my opponent and sprint toward him. And because I believe I'm the better player, I might just win this round. That's exactly what ended up happening. 2 huge starts for Beastcoast. Ferda, again, he got the assist in that round, didn't find the kill. Don't want to point it out too much, but the first kill in professional play is always going to be a big moment for you. And of course, you're not really truly in pro play until you get your kill on the board. But Ferda doing a good job at what he needs as a team. Last round, the Twitch drones in particular, they got so much value. They popped 2 or 3 Goyo canisters, which, sure, the attack did not come from that side of the map, but it applies all that pressure on towards the side of Soniqs, where what if they end up going there? If those canisters are alive towards that late half execute, well, you can pop them and then all your attention go in one direction. So because they were popped early, they didn't have as much manpower to stop that push, and that essentially ended up working out for Beastcoast.
Well, they'll abandon that bomb site downstairs. Soniqs not feeling very comfortable in that position. Rex in a slow start. This is something we've seen from him on many occasions, frankly. There were issues with Rexen all the way back last year, if I recall, where it would take him 3, 4, sometimes even 5 rounds to really get in on the board. Now, this was back when they had Super and Yeti on the roster, so there might be other deficiencies in terms of killing that we saw from the players, leaving more plates of Kansan and Grixer. But that's been far from the case for Soniqs recently. And of course, it's getting to a point where we can't really quite harp on Yeti and Super on the team anymore. They've now played at the conclusion of this, 5 matches without them. This is a new look for the Sonic squad. So Rexen not performing up to snuff is not as critical as it always used to be, but it is still something to note.
And something to note as well is just that Soniqs, they played Skyscraper, Clubhouse, Clubhouse, Bank. Those are maps where you have a lot of mobility and you can roam and you can extend out. Oregon, you're much more stuck in specific areas and key positions. You don't have as much freedom right now. And it was Geo roaming both grounds and basement defense, so you don't get that much value. And look at that, the Kite Claw, it goes out. You don't really get what you wanted there. You only used 1 EMP instead of 2, or it was tricked successfully. Either way Beastcoast, they're already struggling with this first step of the plan. Only having the Selmas right now and 1 EMP to go, they can still fix the problem, but it's a very limited attack from just Master Bedroom right now.
Main focus at the moment for Beastcoast is on that main door. Geo still playing off-site before heading back in to watch over whatever Electric Claws he might be the proud parent of. None in the pocket, so the moment that Electric Claw is taken off of the wall upstairs, leading from the bedroom closet in towards games, he's not going to be able to do too much. They've already opened it up. Surf is down. That's the first bit of action for Beastcoast. Soniqs haven't lost a single point of HP in the process. If Surf can be recovered, then Soniqs, well, they'll have to go back to the drawing board on this one. No, Toxic Canister from Kansan will go out, claim the first target. 40 seconds to go. It's been a blindingly fast round that's flown by, and Beastcoast finds themselves for the first time at a disadvantage.
Beastcoast should know there are at least 1, if not 2 members roaming from Sonic, so they could just go for the execute right now, but again, the breach being scuffed means only 1 door is the injury point. That is not ideal, because it can't fix this breach situation.
Zeno taking damage and just continues onward from the goo, obscuring his vision a little bit as well. He has to pull one out. 2 separate players from Soniqs watching him. Kansan's been downed and now finished off by Anthony. Even numbers, as it's a 4v4 with 10 seconds to go. Rexen finally gets on the board. Grixer 1, Geo another. Is everybody going to get in on it? Ferda falls, and the Soniqs sweep out the attackers on this 3rd round.
So one thing to note with those pocket EMPs is the timing between the different activation gadgets, right? The X-Kairos, the Selma charges for Ace, and of course the Exothermic from Thermite. If you're using a Hibana on Ace, you're pretty much in most scenarios need to use both EMPs to get a full successful breach. The pocket EMPs only disable gadgets for 9 seconds. In most scenarios, it's not going to be long enough to get the breach on both sides. They did have 2 EMPs, because you get 2 apiece. They had Dokkaebi, she had 2 of them. They only spent 1, and that's kind of where the issue came from. And that right there pretty much ended the round before it even started. Of course, you can bring the Thermite on a top floor attack, and you can just kind of, you know, disable that problem entirely. 1 EP is enough, because the Exothermic charge goes out so fast. But if you're bringing Ace or Hibana, you need to really, you know, pay your due diligence and go through the motions of using both EMPs against the Kite Claw. Basement again has not been successful the first 2 times. Big difference right now is the mirror is on the board. Rexen is playing an operator, Grixer again on the warden. The mirror windows are being put down preemptively, right? They've already just been said, you know what, we're going to put one in small box, and then maybe we'll put the second one somewhere, maybe not, we'll see. But I like the idea of keeping one in your pocket once you know where the execute comes from. That's not going to be the case this time. We're going to put both on the front-hand side. With the Kite on the board, the meeting hatch is not going to be electrified, so this makes sense, all things considered, because we're expecting the hatch to be opened up. These mirror windows will do the job. Backside is probably going to be the priority for Beastcoast like last time, but the reason why you can put the mirror windows in the front is that you expect the backside attack. Then you can put 4 members on defense watching that angle, you're in a decent position.
There goes the drone. 3rd time's a charm for this downstairs bomb site, as you talked about. Ferda still searching for his very first kill. We are currently on Ferda watch, as we like to call it. Breaking news, still doesn't have a kill. Round 4, tough for a new player to go through solid almost 10 minutes at this point without being able to get on the board. There's always going to be first stage jitters for a new player, and first game jitters in particular. It's not uncommon for a fresh face on a team to take this long to really find their footing.
It's not. I mean, it's not even like if Beastcoast were down 0-3 in rounds, you can be like, oh, they're not doing so good. Beastcoast are doing great. And Ferda did his job every single time on those rounds, so that's not a problem. But you can get in your own head if you can't get that kill. You think, when am I going to get it? And then when you finally get your chance, you might choke the gunfight, because confidence matters so much at this level of play, because everyone are so accurate in their shots in those gunfights. We still got a minute 25 to go on the clock. Slash on the Capital again, the key operator for the execute. That's what they're going to be using to brute force their way through either the front or the back side of Oregon. The Twitch drones have been trying to sneak into the bomb site to deny some utility, but it's been unsuccessful so far. Playday still has one more in his pockets.
And Grixer's really been the one to try to deal with all these smokes that come out and hasn't failed on that role for Soniqs up to this point. Obviously, there's been greater issues with this defense for Soniqs down below, but now Grixer's in that same spot. And he'll immediately engage the glasses and wait for somebody down towards the main stairs. Moving even a small bit will mean that it's harder for him to see through it, but he sees the Twitch drone come in. He knows exactly where it's looking, and he's able to stop it in time. Still playing off of this soft wall, final 40 seconds. Beastcoast are in, by the way. Look at Slash's position.
Yeah, but I mean, the gate gets popped. You can fire the window maybe, but then again, you got to push through.
Has to burn one of the flames, another will go off. The mirror of Rexen has to get out of the way. That means that it's control of the mirror window for Beastcoast. They don't have anybody from Soniqs sitting on it. Inside of Freezer, Gunner, stunned for a second. They're all lined up. First kill goes to Anthony, but more will now follow. Gunner still in this position, waiting. A pre-fire comes in. It's not enough. Flattened is Anthony, and Soniqs are back at it. Now the numbers will go down. Xeno falters. Slash joins him. Surf gets one before being taken down. It's all on the shoulders of Ferda. Not a kill to his name. Hell of a position to be in for your first match, and Geo ends it before he can get on the board. Soniqs have tied the game.
Yeah, and now the question comes, what is this side swap going to be looking like? Penguin said on the desk that a 3-3 side for Oregon, you're in a great position for both sides. And I do agree with that. But right now, this upcoming round, Beastcoast can secure their third round. They can guarantee a tie. But if they lose this upcoming round, all of a sudden, they might be staring down at, a disadvantage in a 2-4 split. So this upcoming round is going to be very important. It's also the tertiary bombs of defense for Soniqs for the first time. And it's going to be meeting and the kitchen bomb side to follow that up. So, the scene is set in this scenario. Ferda, of course, starts to get his first kill. We can set every single round until he gets it. But that previous on basement, Soniqs did a really good job at stalling out Beastcoast, right? First, the smokes that got spent. Then the Warden, that was an issue, can't push through. Then the fire got spent. What did they do? They threw out toxic babes to stall out the push again. So a really good understanding strategically of what Beastcoast needs to execute. That's going to be the Capital. And then they had two good answers to stall out the two different kinds of Capital utility, the fire and the smoke. And this is the thing that I critiqued about Soniqs with this, super stepping down as a player. I was afraid that Soniqs would not have a good enough read on the game to strategically outplay their opponents. But in every single matchup, besides their game against TSM last Playday where they lost on Bank, they have done that. They have excelled really well in reading the game, understanding it, and communicating between the various players on what their job is in a given round. So kudos to Soniqs for staying in it strategically despite losing their IGL of Super.
Drone war coming in. Rexen got on the board before the last player. Killless. Ferda, again, remember, we're on Ferda watch every single round. Over towards Mess Hall, or over towards Meeting and Kitchen, rather. Just above Mess Hall, where we see a lot of these Beast Coast players. Soniqs holding the crucial part of this dorms map, or this dorms position on the map. You have any soft destructor they're going to want to take up and make a nest above this B bomb site. That's what you need to be particularly worried about. There's no sledge on the board for Beastcoast, so with the breach charges in play, it's likely going to be either the Ace or the Ash who makes a position up there. Gunner gets a jump out and guns down Ferda, but Slash gets two of his own onto Rexen and Gunner. Soniqs do not come out ahead on that gamble, as you might have taken the Lion off the board, but it's the only player from Beastcoast who doesn't have a kill yet.
Yeah, you can argue that's bad value trade right there. I mean, Lion's Gadget is important, but for this particular attack, I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest, because it's all about, the roam clear, the map control, as you mentioned. And so far, Beastcoast, they're making good progress. Flash goes down below, that can try and bait that, fake jump in, so to speak, but Surf, he thinks differently of it, and he waits now for his teammates to rotate to his position. Anthony has made his way to master bedroom. They're trying to collapse on top floor to try and get their vertical control.
It's odd, the Surf is making absolutely no noise right now. He's equipped dead silence.
Yes.
There we go. Now the sound comes back in for him. Almost sounded like we were concussed for a second. Final minute to go. Soniqs had lost those two to Slash as he was picking up freebies on White Stairs. Now it's Grixer to tussle, opening up a small line of sight, but he's missed his opportunity and will have to scramble to get back to the bomb site. Scamper on over here, 3-speed. Anthony greets Kansan and takes some damage in the process, leaving Geo and Grixer to clutch out. Remember, Grixer getting back in close to the bomb site. He'll be able to do just that, but Gio's the one who's in some serious trouble right now. As Maestro, you want to take multiple engagements with the sheer amount of bullets that you can spray out of that Alda. Gio has 36 left in it right now. Now it's Xeno to take some damage, as it seems like every member of Beastcoast is finding the goo mines that have been left behind by Kansan. Grixer looking for the vertical play through the floor, but has to maneuver elsewhere. Gio at the bottom of white stairs to catch a cross, and he'll get the nomad of Xeno, good tracking, and head back to the bomb site. Things are quite evened out. Diffuser in the hands of Slash, but Gio finds him, and now it's Grixer to engage with Anthony, and they know exactly where the Ash is, and the Ash will need to drop. No Diffuser in hand, that's where things get tricky, and the Soniqs just need to stay alive to win the round. They've taken 3 so far of the 5. At worst, they will tie the first half.
Bit of a devastating round for Beastcoast because they had man advantage from the moment the first member of the team died, that was Verda. Then they got what they went upstairs. They got vertical map control in a 3 versus 2. Surf got picked off guard downstairs. Sure, that happens sometimes, so you lost your man advantage of 4 versus 2. But then, even with 3 members alive, you can still go for a pretty basic kitchen hatch drop planned and just hold those crossfires. But they opted for this down the white stair situation with no drone information. They got into the 1 versus 1 gunfights where, well, Soniqs, they're just a little bit better in those positions, and that's why they win that round. And they take the lead. Tactical timeout from Beastcoast as they suffered a loss there. They want to ensure they can get that 3-3 tie, and maybe also discuss their upcoming defensive rounds because that is next after this upcoming round.
3 rounds in a row for Soniqs is a good time to prompt that timeout for Beastcoast and settle things down. I also think it's a mental check for Ferda, and I know that we're going to focus on him quite a lot. You might get tired of us saying his name, but this is his debut. So when you make your first start in the North American League, there is a large spotlight that happens to be shined down on top of you. Shone down, I suppose you could say, depending on the tense that you want to use. Either way, whether it'll help Beastcoast in this final round or not, we will have to watch and see. After their very first successful defense of dorms, the bomb site has been locked up till this point, which means that you get to play it once more.
I mean, already now, you're in a great position if you're Beastcoast because there's a very big change that they've made. Surf is no longer in the pocket EMPs, he's on Thatcher. So, Thatcher, you can just use that single EMP and the Kite Claw won't mess you up entirely with Ace. So, the issue they faced the last time was the breach did not go through successfully. That is going to get fixed with Thatcher and Thermite combination. That is a guarantee. There's no way they don't get the breach this time. And that's what they needed, right? But I still have to question, are we going for a very simple direct attack, just going for Master Bedroom? Normally, in professional play, you need 2 avenues, right? Either big tower or big window plus the Master Bedroom breach. You cannot work with just Master Bedroom breach. It's simply too linear of an attack, and you're going to have every single member in the defense aiming at that breach. And when you walk in, there's just no way you can get through successfully. See what they can do. Seen on the big window, Surf rotating towards that Master Bedroom to assist the Thermite breach of Slash. And then he taking armor control, joining himself in, or actually getting joined by Thirda as well.
I can't wait for his first kill.
Could be this round, Parker.
What did they call him? The Maritime Monster? Is that what Jesse called him?
I didn't hear what Jesse called him.
Please feel free to the Maritime Menace, the Maritime Monster, whichever you'd like to use.
Sure.
Jesse takes this very seriously.
He does. I can tell. I can tell.
I mean, there's an even number of Canadians on the desk. I'm sure that makes Jesse very proud with Penguin in here.
Oh, yeah.
The Maniac from the Maritimes. I think the Maritime Menace sounds better, personally. But, I mean, we can workshop it. I'm going to take what Jesse said, and I'm going to improve upon it. We're going to iterate. So.
Teamwork.
Either way.
Speaking of teamwork, we see the EMP go out. It missed, actually, the first one around, but the second one goes through. Extra charge follows up, and a third just in case, you know, all else fails, but Gio might push to this breach here.
7 kills on Gio so far on a roll that isn't usually at the forefront for Soniqs. He gets droned out and will now have to maneuver out of the spot that he's in. They've conceded that closet is open. We're not really going to be able to defend it that much. Before I say that, as Gio then goes back in that direction. I don't know if he was expecting a very quick push and just wanted to simply live by the trophy door or not. Either way, the stack up from Beastcoast is a well-placed Nitro Cells dream onto that balcony, but will not be made for now.
Gio's playing absurdly aggressive this game so far. Both basement attacks or defense he's roaming. Now he's just contesting the breach in the door. He's just fighting everybody right now.
It's a grenade that goes off as well, trying to dislodge Soniqs from this position. Geo doesn't see it, and Grixer can't follow up. Slash just walks, and down goes Geo. Another for Slash in this position, so good. He's been the last couple rounds picking up kills as they just walk right into his bullets. Kansan now the next, or no, rather Gunnar the next to go down. It looked like it was Kansan to fall, and it's Zeno on the board. Down goes Kansan, there you go. But Rexon has his teammates back. Ferda and Zeno are no more. It's Rexon in a 1v3. He'll need to clutch out. Unless he can pick up Kansan, who's still bleeding on the ground, maybe get him back. Nobody from Beastcoast decides to push this, so it gives Soniqs a fighting chance. Rexon goes down to Surf, and now it's Kansan to clutch. Through the smoke, Anthony says, your clutch, not quite happening. What did Penguins say? A 3-3 first half is exactly what we're looking at as the teams will now swap sides.
Yeah, and it is indeed a close game. Not a one-sided one at this at all. And now the question comes because Penguin also said Beastcoast attacks are where they are an interesting team to play against on Oregon and scrims. He didn't really say anything about their defensive side. So either that means that they're weaker on it, or perhaps they just play much more of a default game of Rainbow Six Siege. But with how their attacks were going, I would expect them to have good, strong fundamentals. And that's the word that I like to use because you can really test the team out on their fundamentals, right? Are they going to kill the drones in their own game? Are they going to overextend? Can they hold the crossfire successfully on the basement once that XQ comes through? Those are all the big questions that I look for as I'm watching this round. And of course, Soniqs, they got a roam clear. But it's usually a pretty easy job unless you've got, the vigil on the board, you got crazy aggressive roaming. The thing that Slash is doing is that, once again, a big brain Slash is going to put captain traps on doors, impact 2 different rotation holes, make a soft hole in towards a small tower, and clearly Beastcoast are going to be extending out a little bit on this map, hopefully, or they're probably hoping for Soniqs to go quick about it, run into those captain traps, take damage, maybe even get injured, and get a bit of value that way. Interesting setup. I do like to see this.
What do you like about it?
I like the fact that it's different, right? If you're prepping for the match for Soniqs, if you haven't scrimmed Beastcoast on this map before, because this is the first Oregon of Stage 3, you have no idea what to expect. And now you see this setup, I'm like, what is going on? This is not a typical standard roam clear. We gotta fight tooth and nail the first door we walk into, and there are captain traps on the board as well. Like, the drone game from Soniqs has to be superb for this round to go cleanly for them.
I mean, but we also saw Capkin come out for Soniqs, so they have to be prepared for that when they themselves are bringing those operators.
You would think that.
You would think.
Well, as
Just
you know,
because you can play something on defense does not mean you know how to tackle it on offense, especially when your team is not going to be prepared for the lineup that gets brought that could be separate from what you've brought before.
drones are going in. It's a quiet start, but you see Soniqs respecting this setup, slowly creeping down the staircase, not rushing through any decisions right now. The question is, did the drone spot out all those capcan traps? Because if you walk through it and it explodes, well, then it's a no. Oh, we checked it. Good job, Rexon. Sees another, shoots it down.
We follow in that EE1D as 1 minute is now gone from the clock. Gunnar not too far removed from him. Beastcoast very restrained on this defense. They're not roaming that aggressively. They're playing close to the bomb site, and they have quick pathways back. The first one that will likely come in contact here is Rexon and Slash, as they might battle things out inside of the kitchen.
Yep, Slash is stuck. He has no impacts, no rotates.
And there's been an explosive that did some damage, but he takes down Rexon, and now Gunnar answers back with a pick on Zeno. Slash still in this position. The high damage PMM in hand. But who wins that engagement? Kansan sees him, tries to outduel him, does so successfully. Soniqs now with an advantage of their own. They've got a minute to go to translate this success off-site towards the bomb site where the 3 remaining players of Beastcoast sit.
I really wish Slash had a spare impact in his pocket there, because he could have just impacted out towards meeting and gotten back to bomb site through big tower. But because he spent both impacts on small tower side, he was stuck in kitchen the entire time and could not run away. He becomes a free kill, and sure, he did some damage to Kansan, got a kill into Rexon, but he could have done that and survived. So a bit of value lost there, but it's still 40 seconds. The time that he wasted was absolutely critical for this round.
Soniqs, even though they have 5 drones under their name, don't seem to be using them right now. It's go time. They use the Jackal marks to help out as one of the proximity alarms goes off. They know that Gunnar is coming in that direction, so Beastcoast can be prepared for it. Surf stacked up. High rate of fire in that storm can do some serious damage. Soniqs deciding to move things around. They're going to push from the back of the map, waiting for Ferda to pick up his first kill, and the drop here should be good enough to do that. Oh, Ferda looks the wrong way, and there's his first kill, only before him to be dragged back down. It's Surf to clutch out with 4 seconds. He can absolutely do this, but he has to stop the plant, but he can't get there in time. Grixer says, nope, not today. Soniqs pick up their very first round on attack, and, well, they gain the lead.
Yep, so close though, right? It came down to that split-second decision from Soniqs to rotate to the backside so quickly that not every member was able to rotate from the defensive side of Beastcoast, and Ferda had an unfortunate timing here. Geo dropped the hatch right as he looked away, but Ferda did in fact get that first kill on the table for himself, and he also did technically slow down the push, but he didn't stop it entirely. Now Beastcoast, if you lose basement, do you go there again? Nope, you change things up. Upstairs to bunk beds instead. And this bomb site in professional play is a bit of a tricky one because we've seen more and more teams kind of sway away from this as the secondary bomb site. It's more common now to go basement into tertiary because it's so difficult to hold any real ground on the kids' bunk's defense because you can't stop them from reaching master bedroom, you can't stop them from reaching attic, you can't stop them from being on a big window on the A bomb site either. So you have to win your gunfights, hold your ground, or it's really the small details that'll define the outcome of the round. For example, does the nade hit true? Do you destroy a player in an important position? For example, Geo, when Soniqs were defending, he was being really aggressive. If you shut down Geo, that's all they really have going for them, and that's what Beastcoast did. Slasher got 2 kills, round is basically over. If Geo gets 2 kills, same story, opposite effect, whereas Soniqs, they're now in the lead. So it's very difficult to find that fine balance between the aggression and the, I guess, passiveness, if you will, on this particular bomb site. And I will say, Slash and Geo are not typically very aggressive players, in my mind at least, but we're seeing them both just really be on the roam, being proactive. Slash was on Capcan last round, now he's in Jaeger, it's at a big tower roaming. Geo, when he was in the basement bomb site, he was on Jaeger running on the map as well. I like to see it, and they're both finding success in their own ways. They're both pretty much leading the charge for kills, as Geo has 8 to his name, and Slash has 6 to his.
You know, the sledge going off, now being brought, and it's over at the top of Small Tower as they're wary of Beastcoast extending out to that same part of the map that we'd seen them defend on before, but, well, Beastcoast have decided that that's not exactly where they want to play. Instead, they're going to be on the same floor that Kansan is on, but just on a different part of the map that they can't quite easily get to, which is over towards dorms. Of course, playing in and around the bomb site, not extending out too much. Slash will reinforce the back of Attic, and buy his team a little bit of time should a push come from that direction. Soniqs again foregoing a dedicated hard breach, as we've seen Beastcoast do in the past. Yep. And there's no secondary hard breach gadget at all. Soniqs are just going to go straight for the throat here, and I guess damn the strategic element.
I was going to say, if you opt to go for this lineup, you just have to go big window and up the wide stairs, because that does not require any hard breach utility at all. And that is where their positions are. So they are following the plan so far, but in a logical sense, this is possible to work out. Further downstairs in this position, a very important player can shut down the big window jump in, but of course, he might have to worry about the roamers too, or the lurkers rather.
Ferda's in an excellent position. Gonna double the number of kills that he has. A jump in from Gunner could do just that. Slash falls to a nade. Now Surf is down for the count 2. Geo dies to the fire from Surf's canister. So he may be in the grave, but there's still damage to be done. Now Ferda picked off from Kansan. Zeno down below will need to get back to the bomb site as it's Anthony left all on his lonesome, buying time by shooting that Goyo canister. It'll be Zeno to head towards White Stairs. Picks the wrong side. He sees the head of the Zolfia of Rexen, but can't do much with it. Will now be stunned out over by Classroom, and more time will be bought as an EUND goes off. But Gunner and Kansan take damage as they sprint through the fire. Anthony, the next one in line of sight, right by the bomb chassis. He scoots away and just waits for the follow-up, but gets slaughtered from the other side, leaving Zeno still down below to contend with 4 players from Soniqs and the diffuser being planted. They know exactly where he is. They do damage to him on White Stairs. Soniqs looking to go up 5 rounds to 3. All they need to do is get Zeno, and it's Gunner to be the one to do it. Soniqs stitching together a very impressive rally now. Of the last 6 rounds, they've won 5, and they're on top.
Yeah, I mean, Soniqs had a beautiful execution there. As I said, as you mentioned, no hard breach. They couldn't get any of the walls, but they had 4 members on the big window White Stairs side and Grixer alone inside of Armory, just waiting for the right time to cut the cross. And because Grixer was on the Twitch, he could still use his Twitch drones proactively, right? Get the lobby cam, get the Armory cam early in the round so that when the flank would come through, there was no information from Beastcoast that was going to be happening. And when you're shutting down information early, well, you're just playing blind because Valkyrie's banned, you're not playing Echo, you don't really have any cameras outside the bomb site itself. That could be like deployable cameras or Maestro, for example, neither of which are really being brought from the side of Beastcoast. So it's a very well execute, if you will. And again, Soniqs, they really understand the strategic elements that they need in these rounds. In Beastcoast, they need something more for these rounds to go their way, because right now it just comes down to those small gunfights. If a member pops off, if for example, if Ferda had gotten a kill or 2 downstairs, that could have changed the course of that round. But it's one of those, like, you can't really count on a kill going a certain way. The strategic elements have to be there instead as a buffer. Of course, the Goyo canisters, they stalled up for time, but the moment Soniqs knew the timer was low, they just sprinted right through that fire, they took a bit of damage, the plant went down successfully, the cover was there, and more importantly, they had the manpower in a 4 versus 2 to take that risk. So opening kills right now, quite important.
And if you look at the opening kills, round 1 and 2 went to Beastcoast, round 3 to Soniqs, 4 to Beastcoast, 5 was a trade, 6 to Beastcoast, 7 a trade. Soniqs picked up number 8. So, I mean, opening picks always matter all the time.
Always.
But we've seen games where the opening pick is largely irrelevant because it happens in the final 30 seconds. And I mean, yeah, at that point, an opening pick is obviously crucial, but it's not an isolated pick. It's not like you got a pick in the first 30 to 40 seconds and you were able to then work knowing that you had a numbers advantage, which is hugely influential in a round. And on top of that, sometimes you get an opening pick, and while it's not exactly a trade within 5 seconds, if they can answer back within 10, 15, then the opening pick and the advantage that you gain from it is often rendered far less effective.
Another, to add more context as well for opening pick, is that on Oregon, because it's a compact map, getting that one single opening kill just means there's one less gun staring in your direction, whereas on a bank, for example, bank is a map very spread open, very wide, so you just get a huge advantage on this particular map. In that scenario, it's why most teams, they play around it. It's why the attackers played slowly, because you don't want to risk losing that advantage early in the round. You want to get it. Similar attack right now from Soniqs. Will it work twice?
Nade goes out, almost claiming Ferda. Next one goes in, and it's Kansan to die to Anthony, but look at Gunnar. He's getting the diffuser down. Can they stop him in time? He has to fall off, likely due to the toxic canister. As Anthony dies, slash from below, a desperate Nitro Cell almost kills Ferda, and Beastcoast's sloppiness is because of the fact that Chaos has been thrown into the equation by the Soniqs. EE1D goes to freeze them in place. Suddenly, Beastcoast now needs to scramble into the 4v4 with just over 30 seconds to go. Gio doesn't know Surf's position inside of Attic. Down he goes. Beastcoast buying time. They'll retake from White Stairs. The rest of Soniqs assembling outside where they might be able to see that diffuser. This is going to be a bad spot for Beastcoast. Rexen with one, another added to it. A run out. But there's no danger for Rexen right now as Gunnar has his coverage. It's Zeno in a 1v3. Soniqs looking to move to match point. Can Zeno save it? No, he can't. Gunnar the last kill, and Soniqs move to match point.
And again, another good read, time and time again. If you do the same defense, you wouldn't think that you would attack against it the same way unless they had so much confidence. But the thing is, there's a small change-up from the side of Soniqs, right? This time, it was an off-pace execute. A flashbang grenade downstairs onto Ferda forced him off the vertical hold in the big window, and then Gunnar just jumped in with the Lion Charge, started baiting the plant, forced the members of Beastcoast to move forward. They got 2 picks off it, and all of a sudden, bomb just goes down. No one had any clear, again, information on what was happening, where was Soniqs planting. The panic C4 from Slash almost killed Ferda, thankfully didn't, but also did not kill Gunnar, who was getting that diffuser down. And we all know, once the bomb goes down in Siege, you're in such a favorable position in that post-plant scenario. And we got the vote. Who will end up with more kills, Gunnar or Surf? Well, Surf played really well, to be fair, in the first half.
9 kills and 11 kills. Gunnar with 11. That is very close. I find that a lot of these polls that directly compare them, and you have Gunnar winning 78 to 22%, that when these polls happen, there's usually always a clear winner and loser. Who's going to get the most shotgun kills? And then somebody has like 14 kills and the other person has 2. And it's like, well, I understand that it's not 14 shotgun kills, but when somebody's only got 2 kills,
not fair.
Probably not exactly a good representation of how many shotgun kills they could get. Either way, you gave the nod to Gunnar.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the roles, right? Gunnar is always spoken of as like one of the most mechanically talented players. He is a gunner, so to speak. So I feel like fans would just be like, of course Gunnar's going to do it. But honestly, Surf's played phenomenally so far in this matchup. The first 3 rounds, huge value. The Twitch drone completely misses Surf, by the way, as I speak about him. He could get a free kill right now if he wants to go for it. It's risky. Remember the Master balcony gets re-droned. He thinks differently of it, goes down to the basement, and he will be on his way.
Surf could re-barricade that door to maybe keep himself a little bit safe as this Lion staple being brought out by Soniqs is paying off in the way that it allows them to quickly take some control along with the drone work that they've done. And Soniqs don't seem to have much of an issue with their drone work giving them information. They've been perfect so far on attack. Soniqs over the last 7 rounds have won 6 of them. Beastcoast's 2 of 3 rounds came in rounds 1 and 2. So they've been in a bad spot for quite a while, and you mentioned that they've been closing the gap between their opponents, but this one seems to be back to more of the blowout that we've seen before. And Slash was mortally wounded, and the breach charge above is enough to kill him from Kansan. Soniqs up in a 5v4.
I have to say, I like the the adaptation that Slash gets a C4 to maybe kill a guy in the vertical. I still think, I don't understand this, because Slash is going to die 10 out of 10 times that position in a Pro League match. Sure, he might get a kill, but he will never survive that position. If you give Slash an impact spare, or give him a rotating towards meeting, he can get out scot-free and survive and just play down that clock. Slash also has a spare Capgun trap in his pocket that did not get utilized. So this time around, again, the Soniqs to do a better game at the adaptation style, whereas Beastcoast are kind of forcing the same thing a little bit too hard, in my opinion. Minute to go. And now if you're defending a decision to make, that's difficult. Do you play overly aggressive and lash out, try and get back that man count of 4 versus 4? Or do you just play really passive and wait for the execute because you think you can take them there? Well, there's Toxic Base from Anthony. You have no C4s. Options are there, but Soniqs, when they go, they're going to get explosive. Members on the hatch, inside a freezer, laundry stairs, all avenues, all angles will be under pressure on towards Beastcoast in 10 seconds time.
This is where the rubber hits the road. Kansan heard by that proxy, but it doesn't matter. Soniqs are just cleaning house. It's Zeno against the entire roster, and he'll deny a flawless. But what more can be found? The diffuser goes down, Gio's job is done, and now it's incumbent upon the rest of Soniqs to watch as Zeno picks up his second pick. Still on Pillar. They know his whereabouts. They have critical information. Zeno will retake, match on the line. All 3 points for Soniqs within reach. They started the day in second place. They'd like to keep that gap between them and TSM in first as small as possible. And right now, the odds are looking perfect. Rexon ends it, even with the slow start. He found his footing by the end of the matchup. And it really didn't take that much for Soniqs. 7 of the last 8 rounds, they toppled Beastcoast 7-3.
Yeah, and in the last 3 rounds, they won all 3 of them and got 3 plants as well. So the objective play was really, really clean from them. Good understanding of like stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 of the round. Roam clear into setup, into execute was played phenomenally. The Soniqs to keep on surprising, I would say, but impressing us at the same time.
Very, very well done by Soniqs, and I mean, there's going to be some things to look at for this Beastcoast squad as they and Oxygen seem firmly entrenched at the bottom of the North American League standings. I mean, at least there's smiles on the face of Beastcoast as they work through the troubles that come with a new roster. But Ferda was not the silver bullet that they wanted. Going 1-10 on the day was statistically the worst performer on Beastcoast. That is not the debut that you want, but you're not picking him up for that. You know that Ferda has far more potential.
Yeah, and you get another try at it again tomorrow, so I'll say let's compare today and tomorrow's matchup when we get there and see where is Ferda at now, because that was his debut. Now the jitters, they might be gone, he might do better tomorrow.
Yeah, throw off that first match jitter that comes. You've got another match in 24 hours. So we'll see you there. And of course, we bring you more action because there's still one final matchup to go in today's NAL. We're going to toss to a break, and then we'll come back with the analyst desk. Sit tight.
Welcome back to the Rainbow Six North American League Analyst Desk. Doa Jesse Jacob Penguin here with you to break down that last game. But before we do, we have Geometric standing by in Las Vegas to chat with us about that last match. Geo, congrats on the win. Hopefully you can hear me out there. Are you there?
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Okay, hey. What's up, what's up? So, hey, congrats on the win. Now, Soniqs on a good trajectory to make it back to the major. After being on TSM for a couple stages, that being a little bit rough as far as getting to the top 4 in a stage. Now you're on track to do that with the new Soniqs squad. How much does it mean to you to get back to a major, potentially?
Obviously it's been a while, even since when I was on TSM. So, it would mean the world to me, not only just to do it for myself, but for the org and the team that believes in me. So that'd be a great accomplishment.
Gio, you've had a really strong season here, at least in Stage 3 for the Soniqs, but there is one game that you guys did drop. It was their most recent match against TSM, and that match particularly, you were getting picked off, it felt like pretty often, early on attack. Can you talk a little bit about the problems that you had in that last game, and then how you were able to fix them coming into this match?
I think obviously TSM is a great team. No one takes that away from them. I just think obviously we lost the map bans. We went to bank and we learned a hard lesson. But you just live and learn. I think for me, I'm an aggressive player, support as it is. So I'm never going to shy away from a fight. I think I can win no matter who I'm playing with. So I think that's what happened. And even here, I was taking the peaks that I thought I could win. And sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't.
What's it been like transitioning from a team that you've been on for so long with being TSM and then transitioning to Soniqs? How's that been for you?
It's fantastic. I was kind of not scared, but it's kind of like when you've been with a group of guys for like 3-4 years, you're kind of used to like everyone. You know everything that's gonna happen. You kind of know everything, and then you get thrown into like a whole new team. I would say a whole new play style, and it's been fun. It's been exciting, and I'm happy we're performing. And hopefully we can keep improving.
You had a good game today. You were kind of all over the place for a little bit. It was that one time you almost had that one clutch round one. You're off as Maestro playing in Z a little bit later on. It felt like you were definitely all over the place in this game. Was that kind of the intent, was to try and be as mobile as you could around this Beastcoast squad, or did you have a specific strategy today when you played them?
We came with a strategy, but for me as a player, I think obviously depending on who we play, I think TSM I didn't really get to show it because I was more of a passive player. But I think people forget I'm kind of a maniac.
Yeah.
Even before when I was on EG, Rogue, COG, people forget it was up to me. I'd run at someone immediately. Like you can saw from the Goyo, me dying in the Goyo. I don't care. I just want to win the round no matter what. So I think people forgot that I'm that kind of player, and then I'm just showing it here.
Aggro is aggro. Nothing like being a bloodthirsty support. That's what I like to see in every game, Thanks for joining us, man. Congrats on the win today, and good luck tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, Geometrics helping Soniqs get it done. 7-3 over Beastcoast. It was quick.
It was quick, and it wasn't the greatest opening game. I think I said Maniac from the Maritimes. I meant to say Mannequin from the Maritimes.
Oh, no.
Because he looked
only
like
been one map. Oh my God.
It was a tough one. 1 in 10 wasn't surviving in the server too often there. But when we talked a little bit about this, there were a couple of times, especially in that first half, where he was dying, but at least he was getting traded a couple of times, right?
Yeah, Furtis scoreline 1 in 10, it doesn't represent the impact he had. I think there was a lot of rounds where someone would jump, Gunner jumped outside, kills Ferda, and then they get 2 kills because of that Ferda's death.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's 1 in 10, but I don't think he played horribly. Obviously, he didn't play the game he wanted. But I think he got traded a lot. One thing though, all of SQ, their bottom frag is 8.
True.
And everyone's got more than 8 kills.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Evenly distributed.
Yeah.
I feel like for both of Beastcoast's new acquisitions, it was trial by fire. Back when Zeno played in that very first game, he had a very off performance, and it took him a long time to finally get to a point where we can say he's up to speed. It might just be the case for Ferda. I think they really had maybe the toughest opponent that they could have had for Ferda's first foray into the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, 1 in 10's not that great, though it does basically seem to confirm the notion that he's doing what what Mark was doing, and just a one-for-one transfer. If Mark comes out, Ferda comes in, he can play on those same ops, but obviously you would have liked to have seen him do more than just one kill today.
It was nice to, like, for Beastcoast start off kind of strong, right? This is their third game in a row starting on attack, and that has been, like, pretty successful for them. But now in 5 games, Beastcoast have lost every single defensive half that they've played.
Yikes.
At least on attack. They won one attacking half earlier against, I believe it was Astralis. This is their second kind of even attacking half where they go 3 for 3. But defense definitely seems like an area where they need to improve.
The thing is, I do want to give credit where credit is due. Soniqs got the dub, 3 points, fantastic. They're back in second place. We should theoretically be talking more about them, but for me, because this is the first game with Beastcoast full 5 now, it makes me kind of reset almost to like 2 weeks ago to reform opinions about what they look like with having new people on the team again. So it might just be a case where it takes a long time for us to get these really good takes on Beastcoast again for a while, because now they're playing the way they were expected to be playing. But if it's starting off like this, that's already kind of a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we knew this is kind of how it was going to be for Beastcoast. You're obviously not going to probably in most situations bounce back and have an amazing game just by putting in your brand new rookie player. Finally, whether you've practiced with him or not.
Right.
Welcome to NAL Ferda. It's a rough start, but hey, a lot of players coming out of Challenger League have the jitters the first game, have that rough time. Now, that's not to say there weren't those good moments for Beastcoast along the way. Like you mentioned, it was a 3-3 attacking half for them, and we're going to take a look at one of those rounds to kind of pinpoint some things that Beastcoast were doing well, because clearly it's a development stage for them. We don't know, where they're going to go from here, but we do want to point out the good things as well as the bad as we break it all down. So let's take a look at round 2 and see how they did kind of towards the end there.
Laundry attacks were really, really nice. This round ends up getting very, very close. The first round, of course, they hit it from the front. They went in through Freezer. They went in through the laundry side. Now they're coming in through the back. They've already gotten Geo picked off on the roam clear, and they start to lose some players here, right? We get a couple of picks. They do trade one with Rexon going down thanks to Surf. They get in deep, and they manage to push really, really deep with Surf and Xeno both picking up a kill. Now they're in a tough spot, though. 1v1, and I love how Surf plays this. Instead of going for the plant, he rushes them down, pistol in hand. 3 seconds left on the clock, finds the head of Gunner. It's a very aggressive play. It's one that shows a lot of confidence, and I love to see it coming in from him.
Well, right at that moment when it looks like Goyo, he fires at the exact time he thinks is going to come around the doorway. Yeah. Surf plays it really well, but I think Beastcoast as a whole still had what you talked about it before, the discipline of dealing with Geo and then finally coming back again.
I think the bigger part about that round was when Geo snuck into dining. The whole attack halted. I forget who the Jackal was, but he came out of Freezer and then went to clear dining. So I think the discipline for Beastcoast to go re-clear the roamers and then have a good sight hit shows that there's potential, but I think they got to have more of those rounds.
Yeah, clearly there's some skill there, but that just needs to coalesce. It needs to develop. The chemistry is not there yet on the squad, and how could it be? It's tough to, there's a big difference, we hear the casters talk about it, between scrimming and then playing on stage in those actual matches too. But let's move on to our next replay. This one's going to be round number 9, and this is just a great example of Soniqs and their post-plant sort of strategy, their togetherness, kind of the opposite of what we saw from Beastcoast. This is a team that does have that cohesion, and it was on full display.
Yeah, in a sense, this felt very much like Soniqs firing on all cylinders, and I mean that also because there were several attempted Dorms defenses from Beastcoast earlier. Gunner's outside big window right here. He's going to try to get a plant down closer to white door if possible, but there's going to be a couple of nitro cells that deter him from actually starting this off. He wants to plant here, back behind bunks, pulls away, tries to get another plant spot down a little bit closer, prones for a second, then runs across, evading every shot and explosion he can, then plants back here, and as soon as he does, watch him bolt right back out the big window, and then watch Beastcoast scramble to figure out what to do here. Gunner's back outside, Xeno's already playing immediately down below, but Soniqs post-plant positions are about to be king right here, even though it's still a 4v4, and Rexon's about to kill everybody as soon as they come swarming up big window, because there is no way for them to get back in, to kill all of these different spots Soniqs are watching it from right here in enough time to actually get the defuse off.
Yeah, I think as well, everyone was on the same page with Soniqs. They had site control, and as soon as bomb got down, you saw Rexon immediately get on the rappel to go to big window.
Yeah.
Clearly they knew the bomb was trying to go down, and their goal was to play a post plant, and they played it beautifully.
Yeah, I think that's like a trend we saw throughout the attacks from Soniqs. It always felt like the team kind of knew what the goal was. They would all work towards it together, whether that was clearing the roam or focusing on the plant or executing on the site in some other way. They really did seem very focused and directed, and I love to see that, especially from a team that just lost a very kind of directive IGL.
Right. I mean, the thing for Soniqs, too, is that you can't just win the games against the good teams. You got to win decisively against the teams that are struggling as well. I think that's just as important as proving where you are in relation to the other teams in the league, right? They're still on track to make that major. We'll see if they can do that later on. But for now, quick break, and then we'll get into our final game of the day. It's going to be Mirage taking on XSET. With the way Mirage is playing lately, this is going to be a fun one. So do not miss it. Final game of NAL coming up in just a few.